Well, in case it wasn't clear to you until now, the Obama White House doesn't seem to like Fox News very much. The administration's war with this network took a strange turn on this week with an attempt to lock out this news organization. Here's what happened. Fox is a member of what's called a White House pool. So are the other news networks, NBC, CBS, ABC, and so on. By pooling our resources this way, each network can share in coverage of White House events. The pool covers it with a couple of cameras, and then everyone shares in the pictures that result. On Thursday, the Treasury Department approached the network television pool and asked if the pool would shoot interviews for all of the members except Fox News. They also asked if Bloomberg News could share in the pool product, even though Bloomberg is not a pool member. Well, in a unanimous decision, the managers of the pool refused. Ultimately, Treasury, and by extension, the Obama administration, backed down. So, Jim, regarding this decision, what do you call that? Censorship?
Well, I would call it the press sticking up for the principle of the First Amendment and the fairness of the pool system, which has been in place for decades. And I think the White House, not worrying very much about the First Amendment, instead looked to Saul Alinsky for inspiration, and one of his key tenets is you isolate your enemy.
So this is the way they practice it in Chicago?
It's totally a Chicago organizing tactic, probably with a little mousy tongue in there too. And but to the great credit of the other members of the White House press corps, they failed.
Here's what Charles Krauthammer wrote on Friday in the Washington Post, Ellen. While government can and should debate and criticize opposition voices, the current White House goes beyond that. It wants to delegitimize any significant dissent. I mean, even the president seems to be endorsing this anti-Fox strategy.
It's, you know, I'm a liberal. I've been in favor of President Obama, but I got to tell you, it's outrageous. And as a member of the White House press corps, it is a matter of who they let in to the morning gaggle, who they let into briefings, and I've never seen anything like it. And listen, I bash the Bushes every day on Fox News, and you know what? They were kind to me. They let me into everything. They never excluded anybody.
A thin skin in this White House, Judy, or what?
No, it's a very calculated political strategy. If you can dissuade Fox News from covering stories, clearly you can't, but you can persuade the mainstream media, the MSM, from picking up and following Fox stories. So you're not going to learn about Acorn. You're not going to learn about the czars who had to be gotten rid of because they weren't vetted. That's what this is all about.
That's what the word in the press room is this week. When I talk to everybody, we think they're doing it so that the other news agencies don't pick up on Fox News stories if they can discredit Fox.
Well, and some of the other news agencies admitted that they were a little slow on the uptake on some of these scandals that really have people roiling right now.
Yeah, the editor of the New York Times said, gee, we wish we'd been a little more careful about this. I guess we got to pay more attention to Fox. Too late, too late.
So, well,
never too late.
But is the White House going to work with that strategy? I mean, if they're trying to dissuade others from following our lead or following our stories, is pushing Fox out of the press room the way to do that?
I don't think it's going to work, and I think a blogger in the Baltimore Sun said the proof is in the pudding. Obama's ratings are 20% down and Fox's ratings are 20% up. I don't think this is working. It's backfired.
I wrote a column on this week, if I can promote myself in my own column. I likened it to what happened during the Cold War, when the Soviet Union especially tried to jam the signals of the Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, other entities that were trying to pump truth into the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc countries, the so-called captive nations. What we have here is an attempt to isolate one network, to give it the mark of Cain, to declare it to be illegitimate, so that, as Judy said, these stories that are discovered here, Fox isn't making them up. Fox didn't create Van Jones and his signing of petitions and the defense of a cop killer. Fox isn't doing this, but if it seeps over to the New York Times, the Washington Post, then the rest of the country might find out what's going on.
What if, Ellen, I mean, you mentioned the way you were treated when you were covering the Bush White House. What if the Bush White House had gone after MSNBC, for instance, the way the Obama White House is going after Fox? What would the response have been?
You know, I don't know. I would tend to think and hope that there would be those of us that would say you can't isolate. Even though I know you guys, no, wait a minute. I know you guys think that the liberal media in the White House, but no, I actually think we would have been collegial about it.
I think there would. I think if the White House had gone after MSNBC in the Bush era, the rest of the press would have been outraged. Like, to their great credit, they have been pretty much on this case, but The huge difference would have been the liberal intelligentsia. All the journalism schools, all the ACLUs, all the college presidents, they all would have been signing petitions denouncing President Bush for his stomping on the First Amendment all over the place.
Last night, MSNBC had a lot of Fox News on its air, and the two co-hosts who've been singled out as kind of pro-Obama were saying, oh my, they really are anti-White House. They were gloating over what had happened to Fox, but these two correspondents, commentators, are the last two people who are taking that view. The mainstream media now understands the name of this game. They have come around, perhaps not to outrage, but at least to saying, this cannot stand.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. I'll make a prediction here, and I don't do it very often. When the president's ratings continue to slip, and according to one poll, they're just dipped below 50%, and blood is in the water for the media. They may love this guy, but they love their careers and the controversy more. They're going to go after him like a shark.
Even Helen Thomas is telling the White House to back off. If
I
you've
saw
lost Helen Thomas.
Helen this week, and I said, so Helen, what's your take on this? She said, Alan, she said, anybody who gets into a fight with a network is stupid. That's what she said.
And I'm sure she put it quite that bluntly.